that went off, and then eventually I produced the Food Community Podcast. It didn't work out between us because we act like fools sometimes. But still though, and another thing I do want to bring up, which is problematic, it could be people could get hate on me for this, but you brought it up earlier too. The music really does affect us, and it affects our minds. And I remember when I was banging, bro, that I used that music to pump myself up to go do things I wasn't ready to do, to be honest. But that music helped me do some vicious things. So my long-winded question is kind of, who are some of the artists that you like, that you listen to, or just like them as people? And how do you deal with the inner contradiction kind of them kind of glorifying murder music with not that much solution in their music, but it's still really good music and they really are telling a story. The one part I do like is GB and the homeboy from Sacramento. They did a song about trapping, but it's about like a positive one, like trap, and it's about like getting money and bettering themselves. And GB has made a couple songs that are very empowering, actually, about his people and his culture. So I see some potential there. So is there a Northern Cal artist that you really like, and how do you deal with those kind of contradictions when you listen to the music, if you do?
I support all the homeboy rappers. You know what I'm saying? I love and support all the homeboy rappers. One thing I would say though is that when I came home from prison and I decided to turn a new leaf on my life, obviously still in good standings with my people, with my community, right? But I turned a new leaf in my life in terms of living a legal, positive life that's not going to take me back to prison. That'll keep me out here with my family, right? I try not to listen to rap music too much, right? I try not to listen to rap music too much because it's really easy for it to pull you back into a whole mentality that will have you acting out on bad habits that typically send us to prison. You know what I'm saying? And so I try not to listen to too much, but I support all the homeboy rappers. I support, you know what I'm saying? I support their passions, their careers, the businesses that they're trying to create for themselves, the brands that they're creating. You know what I'm saying? Like I support anyone and everyone out there trying to get their money and build themselves up, right, and bring their team with them. You know what I mean? Like I'm always gonna have nothing but love and respect for that, right? But addressing what you brought up, right?
Well, before you address that, can I throw one caveat? Sorry.
Yeah.
Because I respect your opinion. I just want to throw one more thing in there.
Yeah.
In Santa Rosa, California, I don't know what's going on, and I really do believe it's the music. There's hella homies, bro. They're like, I see them in the streets now. Like I didn't see them in the streets, and I really do believe that a piece of it is the music. And they're young, bro. I haven't seen young homies in groupings like this in a very long time. So that being said, what do you think about all that?
Let me see.
The music, the contradiction,
right? I'm very mindful of how I speak on these issues,
yeah,
right?
I thank you for bringing it up because it's just I'm struggling with it. That's why.
One thing I personally would like to see, right? And I have this conversation with homeboy rappers, right? I'm not gonna mention any names, but I have these conversations with homeboy rappers when we link up, right? And one thing that I would like to see more, right, is I would like to see more positive leadership in our community passed down through music, right? Because one difference, right, that I see is that when we're in prison, when we're behind the walls, we're always encouraging each other to strive to better yourself, to educate yourself, to conduct yourself professionally, respectably, go to take full advantage of the opportunities out there for you. I mean, we're out there working out, busting down, going to school, going to the programs, going to college, graduating. We're working on essay writing, we're working on a bunch of different things, right? I'm not going to get into too many specifics, but we push very hard the betterment and advancement of ourselves and each other physically and mentally while behind the walls. I would love to see that same push out here in the streets and in the community. Why do we have to wait until we're in prison to encourage ourselves and each other to better yourselves, right? To start businesses, to become more knowledgeable about the law, to be more aware of politics, to understand what equal rights and opportunities we have afforded to us and where we need to strive for, right? There's a lot of, like the brother right here said, there's a lot of power in the message in music, right? And I would like, when it comes to homeboy rappers in general, if they're gonna be representing their ideology, I'll prefer it to be more accurately represented.
Ooh, I like that. Accurately represented. Ooh, I wish that could just be like on a full community post, but
And again, I don't mean no shade, because I love my brothers. I love the homeboys that are out there in the music industry. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's an industry that everyone's trying to find their way in, right? Everyone's trying to build themselves up and establish their career. But while building and establishing their career and finding their way, finding their voice, and finding their influence, right? Especially when identifying with a specific ideology, I would like to see more positive leadership that's more reflective of the ideology that they're representing.
and that's something that I struggled with too, and I tried to hold my tongue because I know it's not really my space. But like, I'm the somebody that, I mean, all my cousins before me, bro, all went to prison. All my cousins before me that were men, all homeboys. I didn't let not one of them. I have a lot of boy cousins under me, and not one of them joined the neighborhood. So I'm the last one from my community, from my family, and I broke that cycle. You know what I mean? And so, and I struggle with those things too. But I'm trying to learn, from people like you, how to address these things without offending the homies. You know, because I feel like the way I am, I offend them, and when you offend somebody, they're not listening to you no more, you know. And I've learned that I burnt bridges by accident, just by being a little too in their face about it. But it's because I kind of grew up in that kind of aggressive, like in your face, you know, like I'm gonna tell you how I really feel, my boy. Like, you know, like you're my homeboy. I'm gonna tell you.
Well, yeah, but with anything, right, you have to be mindful of how your message is going to be perceived, how individuals will react to it, because at the end of the day, the ultimate goal of a message is for it to land, right? And so if you're not mindful of your delivery and how it's going to be perceived, then it's going to miss it. It's going to miss its mark. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be very mindful of that.
I've been missing my mark, bro. It's now I don't know what I'm doing now. I'm just.
And then so I address this question as specific as I can, but I try this. I address I address this issue more directly in person, right, off camera. You know what I'm saying? Because whenever we're having internal conversations about with our loved ones, right, those are discussions that are better held off camera, out of public view, only because when you have, if any disputes or disagreements would arise between you and your loved ones, I would by no means want that to be misinterpreted as any form of contempt or disrespect or what's the word I'm looking for, or can't think of the word, but it's never my intention, right, to try to put down or offend my brothers, right? And so I would hate for that to be misinterpreted or misused or misrepresented on social media because it was taken out of context. You know what I mean? So I'm more comfortable having those conversations in person when you're eye to eye. That way, that those misunderstandings are taken out of the equation.
Oh, it's the worst, bro. It's like I'm still. A lot of people don't know that we're all generally new to this whole internet podcasting. People, you know. So, you know, I make one video about something, and literally like about 15 videos are made, and they're all kind of made in the way that they want to make it, you know, like with their influence, you know, about my life and what I'm talking about. So I'm learning right now, like in the moment, literally. And that's why I wanted to get you on next, because I wanted to kind of start with you and then kind of stay in your mind frame and kind of stay connected to what you're doing, so that, because I think me and you we're trying to do the same thing, but I'm not landing the way you're landing. So I want to learn from you so that I can, you know, try to land a little better, a little smoother, you know, in terms of, I do think delivery is such a big deal, and sometimes we forget how important it is. It's not just the message, but how you say it and how people feel after you leave them, you know. And I'm working on that. So appreciate you just for the guidance, and you don't even know that it's guidance, but you know, just out there helping us all.
Oh, most definitely. Because it's to essentially to touch back on what you said, me, you, and the fellas out there, ultimately what we're about and what I'm about is for the betterment and advancement of my people, physically, mentally, socioeconomically, politically, and legally. My goal is to uplift, empower, educate, and advance my people, right? And so if I were to rap, I wouldn't create lyrics that go contrary to that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's hard because I see vatos that have such good talent, and then some of the music is deep. But like there's a song Rico Too Smooth has that I can't stop listening to forever, bro. It's called Deeper Than Rap, and it's like I can't, like, I listen to it. I'm talking about probably 15 times a day, bro. I get weird with songs, and I love it. And I'm just also think like, dang, if he could make this song, he could. And he has me, a 41-year-old man, really working out to it. He could do amazing things. And I guess I bring up Rico a lot because I feel like he has a lot of potential as a biracial man, as a man from Northern California, as a man that excuse me, has kids, has a mother, has a works his body out, which I really appreciate that he works his body out, because I do think when you're working your body out, it will affect your mind in so many ways, and you just don't want to put bad stuff in your body as much. And so,
that's the homie. BFD, Rico Too Smooth, GB, all of them, Bully from EPA. You know what I'm saying? Like all these different. There's too many to mention off the top of my head, right? But I got nothing but love and respect for all of them. But especially GB, BFD, and Rico, they're always coming with me to the Capitol. Those are solid, level-headed, positive dudes. I got nothing but love and respect for all of them. I very much admire Rico Too Smooth, because he does, to give him credit, he does very much try to put positivity in his music, to better guide his followers. He's very mindful of that. He has a very good heart, and he tries the best he can, right? And I give him props. I give him credit for that, because because that's something that's not easy to do in the rap industry, that glorifies sensationalism, that glorifies ignorance, that glorifies a bunch of bullshit, right? So when we have homeboys that are making a way for themselves in this industry, but staying true to their root by remembering the positive principles and ideals that we strive for in that career path, that's nothing but commendable.